Okay, I think we should start. Thanks for joining us online, and this is a seminar co-delivered by Grace Najjar from Alignment Management System and myself, Eric Tsui from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. The title of this seminar is Activating Insights for Smarter Project Planning and Execution. In a nutshell, it's about exploring the knowledge problems that are bottling a lot of projects in project management, and how knowledge management and better management of knowledge can actually help to alleviate some of these bottlenecks. No prize for guessing. We have set 6 different topics for this webinar. Grace will start talking about why the project fail, what are some common problems with projects, especially bottlenecks and shortfalls. She will go on and talk about how to properly align the knowledge dimension with people, process, technology, right? And I'll take on and continue with amplifying, the damage of knowledge leakages and knowledge loss in organization, and how that impacts project management. I will then also talk about how good project management techniques and tools can alleviate and overcome some of those challenges. Not all of them, but some of them, okay? And I'll finish the seminar with some case studies which dovetail into some of the tools and solutions that I mentioned in an earlier section. Okay, there will be time for Q&A as well. Then we welcome you to share your views and discussions and questions with us. All right, so I'm going to pass it to Grace to take us through about why projects fail. So Grace, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Eric. Hi, everyone. I'm truly delighted to be co-delivering this webinar, this very important, alliance between 2 important topics, knowledge management and project management. So let's start by asking a very simple but powerful question. Why do projects fail? So if you could just scan the QR code or put it in the chat. We've seen projects struggling despite talented teams, good tools, and strong intentions to deliver. However, failure is still high based on numbers that I will be sharing shortly. What do you think? If you can put it on the chat or just scan the QR code. So I believe you agree with us that the challenges are very common around scope issues, resource constraints, delays, misalignments. Those are very, very common across many projects. So if you go to the next slide here, yes, we know why projects fail, as you could see. We know how to prevent their failure. And despite all of the knowledge, why do they still fail? If we dig deeper into the issues and the challenges, we see that failure often isn't just only about lack of resources or lack of skills. It's about the knowledge being stuck in silos, the insights that are lost between phases within the life cycle, and lessons not carried forward. We'll dig deeper into that. And in the next slides, we're definitely going to unpack some of the bottleneck together. I feel privileged that I have lived and worked for decades in the Middle East, North Africa region, the land for opportunities, not only for mega, but giga projects. And whenever we think of mega projects, bold nations, ambitions, and rapidly transforming cities and societies, the Middle East, particularly the MENA region, stands out as a vibrant hub of dynamic growth. So over the past half century, few regions have witnessed such remarkable transformation. Take the Burj Khalifa in the United Arab Emirates on the left side. It's a symbol of engineering excellence, of ambition, that not only transformed a city, but bringing a whole downtown into a thriving and vibrant hub, contributing to UAE vision to become the global hub for innovation, business, and happy citizen. So it has been built over 9 years to create a legacy that lasts longer. The Cairo Tower in the middle in Egypt, again, it's a blend of cultural heritage and embracing not only innovation, but sustainability, as you could see. And on the right side, the Museum of the Future in Dubai, which is a masterpiece of innovation, merging tradition and futuristic thinking. So as you can see, these projects are not just landmarks, they are testaments of visionary leadership, of knowledge that have been applied at scale, and of course, project management excellence. So behind everyone lies enormous knowledge creation, lessons learned, and capability build, setting benchmark, not only for the MENA, but for the whole world. So with the next slide, we also move to the Saudi Arabia, which is now a nation that is taking the lead when it comes to huge investments and to become again a global investment powerhouse. So like the Kingdom Center Tower on the right side, which was built in 2002, it was the tallest building. Now it's already the 5th. On the left, the Diamond Tower in Jeddah, which is a twisting 360-degree under development and engineering marvel, future Saudi Arabia's second tallest building and one of the tallest residential in the world. And in the middle, we have the Jeddah Tower under construction, again, aiming to become the tallest globally. So in addition to other projects like mega projects happening in Saudi Arabia, the World Cup, welcoming the World Cup 2034, the Expo, currently leading huge transformational projects. Again, the same statements come into play. Behind this lies knowledge, learning, and excellence, projects that are at scale becoming, in life becoming successful because of what they have been capturing in terms of lessons learned, avoiding mistakes, and activating insights to deliver value. So with the next slide, I'd like to take a closer look at the construction industry. We all know that we learned a lot from this industry, which is the oldest in the world. Unfortunately, despite being the largest, 30% of GDP, yet productivity growth is only 1% compared to 3.6% in manufacturing. If you look at the numbers, the data shows it's still underperforming. According to Bechtel, 98% of mega projects, they face more cost overrun beyond $1 billion. Every project beyond $1 billion is really facing cost overrun. 95% of projects fail to meet objective as per CII, and also according to the Project Management Institute, PMI, one of the most recent studies, for every billion, there are $12 dollar at risk due to lack of performance. So some of the common reasons behind these failures: shifting priorities, outdated planning, and above all, poor knowledge transfer. So the knowledge is being lost, not captured, not reused effectively, leading to delays, overrun, and inefficiency. Also, with the next slide, I would like us to take another closer look at some of the high-profile examples, examining deeply how benefits could fail despite the huge investments. So many cities around the world try to expand highways to reduce traffic, but instead traffic increases by 30 to 50% within a few years because more cars take off the road. And we have the examples in London of the transportation of on 2022. Other examples with cities investing millions of dollars with Olympic Stadium, yet 90% of them remain unused or underutilized, as per Forbes 2023. Again, also with the information systems, ERP implementation failed by 70% to meet the original goals. And again, equally, 70% of digital transformation program fail because the focus is on systems rather than operational benefit. And examples go on and on. One thing becomes clear and common: the root challenge is not only the lack of resources, as I mentioned in the beginning, not lack of ambition, or not loss, or the absence of technology. These failures are not just statistics. The real issue is the absence of effective knowledge management, the gap between knowledge, governance, and execution. So when critical lessons from past experience are ignored, when knowledge is not properly transferred across the phases or across projects from project to another, when organizations fail to build strong learning mechanism, so projects keep on repeating the same mistakes, we keep on having inaccurate estimation, non-executable plans, and hence benefit fail to materialize. So with the next slide, I'd like to also to keep us focusing on the benefits not realized. We have many other examples in the world with 1.5, for example, billion projects in the United States Air Force, one of the projects because of unclear governance. Again, same numbers, around 70% of projects fail due to poor oversight and management. Organizations keep on wasting a high percentage, equal to 12% of resources annually, because execution is ineffective, and global corporations like Revlon worldwide suffered legal and financial instability due to failed implementation, and some figures around 35% of projects still fail to meet their original goals due to poor program and benefit management practices. So these failures are not only around governance or execution gap, they reflect clearly a lack of knowledge being captured, transferred, or intelligently activated. We believe that without, and we're gonna demonstrate this now together with Professor Eric, we believe that without structured knowledge management practices, lessons learned are lost, the oversight is weakened, and organization repeat mistakes instead of building on existing knowledge and worldwide success. So again, in summary, when it comes to the importance of focusing on project investments, the shift now is to focus on benefits and value. So that's what really matters. So projects are no longer about delivering outputs. We're no longer seeking roads or towers or pipelines. We're seeking what's beyond. So that's the true success. We're talking about ensuring tangible business outcomes, sustainable value, and this is where knowledge activation becomes critical. So by embedding knowledge management into execution, we connect project with strategic value. And the majority of the problems happens due to the disconnect between implementation and strategy. So all comes to driving strategic alignment, making sure initiatives don't just produce deliverable, but actually support organizational objective. So it's about ensuring sustainable benefits with governance, tracking, and long-term impact. And finally, it's about adaptive execution, capturing value in real time and helping organizations towards the proper learning. So enhance their learning around how to stay resilient, how to navigate disruption, and truly remain competitive. So with that, I move on to the next section in order to set the stage later on to Professor Eric to take us through the proper knowledge practices and activation. Let's go deeper into the organizational challenges and shortfalls in project management and in the usage of technology. From our roundtable held in Dubai last year as part of the Project Control Expo platform, where we invited top executives representing leading and diversified sectors and industries, we've learned 6 major bottlenecks that were truly highlighted by everybody in the room. So let me start with highlighting the first 3 of them around client maturity and governance, collaboration silos, and underused technology. First, priorities are often unclear, they're conflicting, leadership shift between each other among the levels of the organization, which create more and more uncertainty, because lessons and the governance of the knowledge across the organization are not systematically captured or used. So project risk clearly repeating the same mistakes with this environment. Second, the collaboration issue. Stakeholders still, despite all of the technology connecting all of them, they still operate in silos. We believe without structured repositories and effective collaborative platforms, the knowledge is very slow, it doesn't flow, and we still face dispute, conflicts, or inaccurate decision-making and problem-solving slowing down and being stuck within the organization. Third, despite the advancement in technologies like AI, BIM, blockchain, and even the spreadsheets everywhere, and the emails available and the information available to everybody, the technology is still underused when it comes to capturing insights and embedding the critical insight into workflow, where tacit and explicit knowledge is not properly or timely transferred to support adoption. So across these 3 bottlenecks, the common thread is again knowledge. When it is isn't captured, it isn't shared or activated, progress slows. But when it is, governance strengthens, collaboration flows, and obviously technology adoption accelerates. So with the next slide, from the same executive roundtable we had, there are 3 other bottlenecks that stood out very clearly. First, leadership. Second, talent, and sustainability. When it comes to leadership and culture, we still face weak leadership across levels, I mean, top, bottom up or top bottom, and short-term ego-driven or biased decision, which often derail projects more than any technical flaws. So again, because the knowledge is not institutionalized, leaders repeat past mistakes, and instead of building the collective wisdom, and I know, Professor Eric, you call it collective wisdom or lessons learned that drive value. Second, talent and skills gap. Despite many, graduated young or the high standards of universities, we still face gaps between the academic graduate, and the workforce. And I know Professor Eric, through the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, and myself, we've been closely involved with the university to help bridge the gap and prepare our graduates and take them away from any theory-heavy, knowledge to be more prepared to the real-world complexity. At the same time, you see organizations resist investing in skilling, reskilling, or upskilling, where we can, through the youth, we can get a much more fresh perspective, and we should now envision multi-generational environment where we can be able to transfer through the knowledge platform tacit knowledge or wisdom from experienced people, and let the next generation, through their innovative mindset, enter very much prepared to the workforce of tomorrow. Third, the sustainability. We know there are lots of talks around it, and the region also welcomed the 2 succeeding COP 27 and 28. There are lots of focus on sustainability, but unfortunately, we still, a gap. There is still gap when it comes to the execution imperative. So we're still under some pressure, see some short-term fixes, but we still lack the long-term resilient solution when it comes to sustainability. So around all those bottlenecks, among the 3, we also have a common issue around the knowledge. Same issue when it's not captured, not activated, projects struggle. Otherwise, we would expect them really to activate and get us into much more success through the knowledge management properly embedded. So with the next section now, I'm going to highlight some of the importance of the alignment between AI, people, knowledge, and governance, so that we can deliver much more sustainable value and address the gap that I have just presented. With the next slide, again, the Middle East stand out again, not only in buildings or in construction, but in the huge investments in the AI. In Saudi Arabia alone, AI investments have reached in 2024 720 million, and is projected to hit 1.9 billion by 2027. So, and the region is not only following the trends when it comes to AI. Through the AI, the region is expecting to boost its productivity. For example, in KSA, the boost is expected to be 50% and to contribute to 14% to the GDP by 2030. This means that the technology is foreseen beyond a tool. It's foreseen to deliver impact, and we believe it won't be able to deliver the right impact unless it puts people at the center, and where we have the most innovative knowledge that help drive value and help nations execute their bold, ambitious goals. So this brings us back to the heart of our today's discussion, activating insights for smarter project planning and execution, because nobody aims to deliver projects only for the passion for technology or for being a trend. Success is not only about delivering on time or within the budget, like what we had traditionally in terms of KPI. Nowadays, ambitions for communities, for project leaders and government leaders is to create lasting value for people, for nations, and for the organization, and of course, for the planet. With the next slide, building on my earlier point, the Middle East is investing in AI and is being pioneering with digital solution in construction, particularly, and I will be taking you through some of the technology enabler and digital solution and some on-site execution around digital twin, which we have been pioneering in using them along with the drones, AR, and 3D printing. They are widely adopted as per PwC. The adoption has reached in 2022 50%. Big data alone has been adopted by more than 40%, and the drone as well beyond 33%. So the majority of the survey in the region have recognized that the benefits around the technology being adopted is to shape the industry and integrate the human factor, integrate sustainability factors. So we don't only deliver, but we embed the insights. And here comes the knowledge importance and knowledge value, but because all of us, we care to deliver resilient and sustainable outcomes. And here's the value of the knowledge, what we learned from other benchmarks or equal success, or what we're trying to avoid from other people who failed to deliver properly. So we recognize that technology alone is not enough. It must be paired with skills, with wisdom, with continuous training. And here comes the alignment of people, technology, and knowledge. That's what truly drives transformation. So here again, with the next slide, source credits to PMI with one of their most recent courses on technology and innovation in construction. It's a case study from ExxonMobil that shows the power of innovation in execution. So it's a deep water project off the coast of Angola. By applying design one, build multiple, there's a strategy that leveraged off-site prefabrication, and it reduced, as you could see, cost. It delivered ahead of schedule, and obviously it boosts productivity. So what's important here is not only the technical method, but how the knowledge and innovation were activated into repeatable processes and shared knowledge. And that's what truly turns execution into scalable advantage. And here's the real impact lies when organizations capture and scale insights. Innovation shifts from being in one-time success to a systematic driver of value. With next slide as well, I'd like to highlight, referring to McKinsey research, it's never just technology. So this is the stress that project manager and project professional and leaders, they must bridge business context and technology. So this is the real differentiator today, is not only adopting tools, but they need to activate knowledge, tacit and explicit, to optimize communication, collaboration, and decision-making. And here we're talking not about tools, but tools alone won't do the job. You need to teach them. And that's the power of AI, of all of the machine learning. We embed the critical insights into the proper workflow in order to accelerate and amplify the intelligence. That's the true intelligence between human, machine, and biological. And that's where we'll be blurring the line. I know the Professor Eric is going to highlight that. And that's how we shorten the onboarding. We eliminate repetitive work. We enable smarter and faster decisions. So that's truly about shifting of the role of a project manager from simply delivering on using static sheets into using advanced, insightful workflow, delivering output, which they become project manager, the knowledge activator, I would say, orchestrator of collaboration, and truly enabler of transformation. And with the next slide, again, from the PMI newly course in technology and innovation in construction, we highlight that the role of technology, it's the fuel. This is the fuel that makes technology truly work for delivery. As shown in these slides, and as grouped by PMI into 3 areas: technology enabler, digital solution, and on-site execution solution. So those category play a unique role in enhancing delivery, improving efficiency, and enabling innovative solution methods and ways of working. So with the next slide, I'll quickly brief you into what I mean by those. The technology enabler, you've heard about digital twin, Internet of Things, cloud technologies. So they provide the foundational infrastructure that support data flow, connectivity, and obviously scalability. Take the digital twin, for example, which is widely used in the MENA and of course in the world. It helps create the real-time virtual models of physical assets, enabling much more effective monitoring, predictive maintenance, and decision-making. The digital solution, including the AI, BIM, blockchains, and many other solutions, they enhance planning, execution by optimizing resource allocation, scheduling, automating workflow, and improving transparency. And with the on-site execution solution, we're talking about robotics, 3D printing, AR, and VR, and many others. So definitely those help us improve the on-site productivity, because the major issues happen on the execution, not in the planning. So we're talking about productivity when it comes to executing through solutions like those in order to better streamline the construction's task with higher safety. With that, I'd like to close this section and hand it over to Professor Eric. The most exceptional technology relies on alignment and adoption. It's what we do with the technology, and it's truly the impact it can only realize when we align human values, creativity, and knowledge activation. Over to you, Professor Eric. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. I think Grace briefing has unequivocally illustrate, the importance of the knowledge dimension, and unfortunately, many projects have overlooked or underexplored this particular dimension. That leads to many operational problems. And she has also highlighted, the good knowledge management, if we can achieve that, not only can help with the operational outcomes, but also enhance learning and also the innovative capabilities of the project team, which is wonderful. So allow me to elaborate more about what exactly are the problems in knowledge that are troubling many projects and why we are acting like that. And then gradually moving into solutions that knowledge management can shed into, as well as illustrations about how companies have applied some of these solutions effectively to good outcomes. Well, we all know that right now we are in the fourth industrial revolution and transformation into a digital era. Not only that, but also talking about collection of data and making use of this data to generate smarts. But guess what? Amidst all this transformation, I would say that many of us are still focused on these terms. Read them, to run them over. Run over this list of terms. Efficiency, productivity, cost optimization. You name it. What do they represent? They represent a sense of cost containment. They represent a sense of control and strong governance. And in fact, we can't blame anyone, because we are here at the fourth industrial revolution. Then obviously we came from the third industrial revolution. All these terms, you can see that they are the basic elements of the third industrial revolution. That's about efficiency, about productivity, about cost control, about efficiency and reliability. And in the third industrial revolution, the factories, they need workers who can perform repetitive job at a massive scale, and they are trained. The people are trained to use particular tools and repeat the task many, many times in the day. So they are trained to do that as a kind of specific job duties. But we are now in the fourth industrial revolution. Unfortunately, many organizations, at least their organizational structure, is still very much with layers and layers of control, because they need compartmentalization, they need specialization of tasks, because this way they can standardize the task, and this way they can assert proper control, manage it, monitor it, and correct any problems. But again, this is the cost mentality, cost and control mentality that is rooted in the third industrial revolution. However, look at today's organization, many of them are still, having organizational structure like this, layers of management control. What happened is, for those of you who are experienced in industry, definitely, you can equate that and draw the analogy between that problem and these underground pipelines, right? The pipelines represent, to me, silos, different departments. They may be running smoothly, in terms of their own operation, but they are not sharing, much across departments. So therefore, you have this problem that Grace mentioned earlier. There's little, retention of knowledge. There's little transfer of knowledge, especially across interdepartmental units. And today, in a globalized world, in an increasingly digitalized world, we need cross-departmental sharing, and we need inter-organizational sharing as well. So, the types of multi-layer organizational design, actually the favor task specialization, control, and efficiency, but they actually inhibit cross-flow of knowledge between units, division, and innovation. And that's not doing good to organization, and certainly not good in terms of running large-scale project management, because large-scale projects typically, you cut across different departments, and not only that, you cut across different organizations in different countries as well. Well, to go a little bit deeper about the origin and the knowledge flow inside organizations. So this is a simplified version of that. Obviously, people is an important asset of organizations. People is the key asset of organization. You have people working, as a project team in different departments. They talk to each other. A lot of the conversations are not recorded. Very, very little things are being documented or retained. Okay, and then you may say that some of the documents properly capture what people are talking about. Fair enough, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. Compared to things that are leaked, compared to things that are lost, compared to knowledge that are not codified. That's only the tip of the iceberg. And even then, even if you have something that is codified and stored in a repository, and use a search engine to search, you may not always find it. So there's also leakages even in the implementation of this kind of scheme. Then if we extend it further, for any decent sized organization, chances are the organization have multiple departments, multiple units. So there you go. You have a more a more complex structure. You have loss of knowledge. You have knowledge flow across different units, and again you have knowledge leakages and knowledge flow because of knowledge flow. Furthermore, organizations have to interact with the rest of the world as well. And there you go. Again, there are more knowledge loss between the organization and the rest of the world. So therefore, you would appreciate that there's a significant amount of knowledge flow, and there's also a large amount of knowledge loss in everyday's operation inside an organization. Well, you think organizations know that? Yes, definitely. The organizations admit that they are confronting major issues with the loss of knowledge and no knowledge about how to actually best benefit from the knowledge flow. And that's always been a troubling problem for many organizations. And recently I read articles that some organizations are trying to quantify the damage of knowledge leakages. Well, coming back to project management, this is obviously a highly simplified diagram about the various activities in project management. There is project planning, there's project execution, there's monitoring, there's learning, there's reporting, and there are lessons learned. That's what Grace has mentioned repetitively. Okay, so I would say that each and every one of these activities are very knowledge intensive. What does that mean? That means, as a knowledge manager, as a knowledge worker, you would have to rightly examine the task. You have to draw on your knowledge and experience on how to execute that task. You may have to, discuss with your colleagues and form an opinion about how to make decisions. You may have to make joint decisions. And these kind of things are very common day to day in every project team. So, project management is a very knowledge intensive set of activities. And obviously there are challenges. Now, today is not a seminar that talks about all the challenges with knowledge-intensive activities, but following on and amplifying what Grace has enlightened us earlier, I would like to point on about the two major problems. One is, the inadequate knowledge flow across organizations, so that the needed people, the people who needed knowledge, often don't know about the existence of the knowledge, nor receive the knowledge. And the other one is the significant knowledge loss. What a pity, significant knowledge loss, and that's go to astray in an organization. Yet this knowledge, if they are salvaged or harnessed in the proper way, it would benefit the organization enormously. So these two problems, in other words, inadequate knowledge flow and massive knowledge loss, are haunting most organizations in a big way. And project management is no escape. And this is one of the very knowledge-intensive activities. Well, obviously, and many reasons contribute to the loss of knowledge and the uncontrolled about the knowledge flow. And there's departing experts, people retirement, people leaving the organizations, high turnover of staff in organizations, and also we keep on losing tacit knowledge in that organizational context, right? So why is how is tacit knowledge being accumulated, right? And that is through conversations when we talk to each other, in typical knowledge management framework, and that's a socialization. We talk to each other, we formulate in our mind about what is being referred to, and we never write it down, of course, we communicate. We read material, right? So by reading something that is explicit, we convert that into our mental model and try to reconstruct exactly what the meaning is based on what we have read. Again, that is tacit, right? We think, and that's again, nothing is being documented. Everything is remaining in our head. So the tacit knowledge is so abstract and yet so valuable. And again, you see that this is another unfortunate situation that nobody can avoid, and no organization, no country, no society can avoid. It's a natural attrition when people retire. That basically is a lot of tacit knowledge walking out of the door, right? So every organization will suffer from it. In fact, in the last 15 to 20 years, the situation was even worse. Allow me to just mention it briefly. That was the baby boomers retirement syndrome. And that was, referring to a group of people who were born approximately, immediately after the Second World War, 1945 to about 1960. And if you add 60 to 65 years to that band, you would conclude that, we already just finished the exit period for the baby boomers. They have just retired. So the world has never seen such a significant proportion of people who retired before. Why? Because baby boomers are people who were, who were born, above the average rate in order to make up for, unfortunately, the life that were lost in the Second World War. So they retired. So the knowledge is lost. So continuing on, I've also found, credible statistics about how organizations have lost out about tacit knowledge and the impact on the operations, and that's really no good. You can see that the damage and the compromise in profit or revenue for these organizations, or even loss, right, in terms of the compromise in tacit knowledge, and that caused project delays. And that's replacement cost for people. You have to find another person. You have to give time for this person to come up to speed, and chances are you will never be exactly the same as the person who departed anyway, because different person is different brain. That's innovation can also be greatly affected because of the loss of tacit knowledge. There you go. Onboarding delays, duplicate work, process inefficiency, customer satisfaction, all because of the loss of knowledge and the compromise in knowledge flow. So Grace has painted a fairly bleak picture, for organizations that have, ignored it or paying insufficient attention to the knowledge dimension. I'm not going to repeat any of those, but to enlighten you that in the next 5 minutes onwards, I'm going to talk about some of the KM techniques and tools that can help to overcome or at least alleviate some of the problems that Grace has enlightened us earlier, including the loss of knowledge, including the inability to make good decisions, and as well as several other things. So we are talking about applying KM and applying good KM to project management. Why not? So project management, previously discussed it, is a set of highly knowledge-intensive activities. So we are now putting a knowledge focus on it. So we must be in the right direction. Indeed. So allow me to go into the next level of details. Well, when we talk about the importance of knowledge in project, I can separate it into three different types of knowledge. The first one is the knowledge about the appropriate methodologies, the templates to use, the checklist about the quality guidelines and so forth, the compliance knowledge, that's in fact, compared to the other two, it's more straightforward because much of that is documented, right? So if you can learn from what is documented, basically you can pick up most of it. But still, you cannot assume that every knowledge worker in the project is fluent in that. But you can train people to be more fluent in this part of the knowledge. Okay, assuming that you document the knowledge properly, you provide training. So you still have leakages, but as I said, compared to the other two towers, probably this one is more controllable and less damaging if knowledge is compromised. The second type of knowledge is knowledge actually required in order to tackle the project. Okay, and that very much depends on the team of people that you have in order to solve that, to execute that project, and the total composite capabilities, collective wisdom, competency of the team, not just an individual, but as a team. So if there's still shortfall in the knowledge, you may have to provide additional training or remedial measures in order to enhance the knowledge and skills. But this is the focus. Do you have the right set of people to actually tackle the problem that you have in that project? Again, how do you enable them to share effectively? How to provide training and learning for them on a continuous basis so that they are, remaining to be competent and capable to handle the task in front of them. Okay, so this is the second type of knowledge. And in KM, much focus is on how to ensure that the knowledge and learning are provided appropriately for this particular tower of need. The third one, as Grace has also enlightened us several times, is about the lessons learned. Especially for project organizations that has been around for a while. They have many projects. They have finished many projects as well. So it would be foolish if they do not learn from the past projects, success and failures, mistakes, whatever, right? Because you gain so much by remembering, by knowing about past mistakes and past failures, so that you can avoid them. At least you can you are conscious about not to let it happen again, and at least you can try to minimize the risk. And then if that happened again, hopefully you have a solution, or at least you have a knowledge of a prior solution on how to adapt it and solve your current situation. So there's much to gain in compiling lessons learned from past projects, and then making sure that this is well documented and shared with those who need it for their projects currently and in the future. So this is talking about typically, not always, but typically a repository of lessons learned, and also forming a group of people we commonly call communities of practice, so that they can harbor that abstract, core knowledge base in a tacit form, and that can be shared to other people, when they need them. So with these three types of knowledge that is needed, I go back to to listing about the different types of KM tools, technology tools, soft tools, process-based tools, people-based tools. Today is not a seminar that talks about all these tools, but I like to give you a slice of the picture, and they get quite complicated, and there's quite a range, plethora of tools around in knowledge management. Okay, but I would say that as Grace has nicely put it, activate the knowledge in the PMO. Knowledge activation to me is to align and customize specific KM methods, tools, and systems for operational gains, obviously for the benefit of good project management. And I would like to, single out a number of areas that with research backing that I have identified that many organizations have leveraged to success in project management. So a number of tools and strategies, tactics in knowledge management, okay, for project management. First one is knowledge codification. So as we discussed before, certain knowledge are more valuable than others, but most knowledge are still in a tacit form. So provided that we can identify those knowledge that is worthwhile to be codified and can be codified, and they can remain to be applicable, at least in the short to medium future, they should be codified. Hopefully, when people, read them, reinterpret them, they can formulate the mental model that represents what it originally supposed to convey, right? So we need knowledge codification. Second is knowledge repository, right? Grace has mentioned that several times already, and later on I'll show you several organizations or many organizations successful with using KM, 4PM have actually, developed repository to support, to store and disseminate various types of codified assets. Third one is networks and communities, and this is about people, linking people with people. As we all agree, much of the knowledge is still tacit. So tacit, you cannot put a finger around it. So the best way you can do it is to group people together, build trust, so that when any of these people needs knowledge, they can tap into a nucleus of knowledge to satisfy the knowledge quest. So a community is a very effective KM tool for doing that. Fourth one is obviously collaboration tools. We cannot assume for large organizations, especially, people are located in one single location. Typically, they are all spread out in different locations. And even for a single organization, let alone today, most large projects involve multiple organizations. So we need to provide collaboration tools. Zoom is one of them, but there are many others with many other features as well to make sure that, together, people can co-create documents, can co-create decisions, can discuss, can share, and also build trust, via electronic means. And that, hopefully bridge the time, distance, divide, that commonly occur when people are located in different locations. And finally is knowledge processes. Of course, when you think about carrying out, for example, codification and building repository, there are knowledge-intensive activities that needs to be carried out. So therefore, a large part of knowledge activities is on defining what are the knowledge processes, right? Search, retrieve, validate, index, convert, and more. These are individual knowledge steps that need to be carried out in order to support, the other four types of knowledge operations that are commonly used to enhance project management. So, this is a depiction about how the various things are linked together. I'm not going to go into details of it, but you can see in the center, there's a knowledge repository, and around it, there are different types of knowledge bases, best practice databases. You can have lessons learned and other things as well. The repository, it's a great way to store anything that is codified. Of course, you probably need to have a good information classification scheme as well as a good search engine with appropriate metadata so that people can find it. The fact that you've codified it, the fact that you've stored it doesn't guarantee that people can find it, right? So, it's important, as Grace has mentioned, to properly balance the attention of tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. I can't tell you what the percentage of split between the two. It all depends. It all depends on the nature of the work. It all depends on the organization. It also depends on the stage of the journey of knowledge management that the organization is embarking on. So at different stage, the organization's KM strategy will guide them to have a different focus in terms of a ratio, a split between focusing on tacit knowledge versus focusing on explicit knowledge. And, the writings on the wall, it's good work if we can leverage on past project knowledge, and that definitely can help organizations to be better at achieving their project management metrics. Again, this is not a seminar that talks about detail of project management, KM in project management, but I do like to, at least enlighten you that, the good parts of KM actually can solve many of the problems that Grace have shared with us about, the complex project, okay, and management of complex projects. So, KM has demonstrated benefits in all of these dimensions, like decision-making, collaboration, risk management, continuous improvement, operational efficiency, and a lot more. So in terms of the, the 5 steps or the 5 KM tools that has been commonly adopted, I can further elaborate and tell you that these are how they have actually, embedding KM elements and explicit knowledge to support the various stakeholders for better project management. We can go into the details of it, but that would be the subject of a different seminar. All right, in the remaining time, perhaps I draw on a few case studies just to reinforce about some of the key KM tools and concepts that Grace and I have mentioned. So IBM, the very large global organizations, although now they are not as powerful as they were about 20 years ago, but still very large organizations. And reports have indicated that they have leveraged successfully on repositories, knowledge exchange, and also communities of practice. And these things and others have enhanced IBM's knowledge sharing in a big way for their global projects and complex projects across different parts of the world. They rely heavily on the use of repositories for codified knowledge for various purposes, right? That could be, I don't know, could be proposals, could be reports, could be lessons learned, and more. And that's getting, we can talk about the content that may be getting into their commercial secrets, but the word is out. They are using knowledge repositories. And they have reap benefits on decision-making, among other things as well. So enhancing the accuracy and the quality of the decision, which is very important. IBM also leverages on communities of practice, and that is linking people with people and emphasizing on the ease of sharing tacit knowledge among a group of people. Typically, people who are experienced and willing to share with people who are hungry for knowledge. They could be new, they could be young, they could be inexperienced, yet they are hungry for a certain type of knowledge. So it would be great, to identify them and, to include them in the communities of practice so that they can build trust and learn from the experts. Siemens, another very large organization, highly global and expert in rail infrastructure and communications, right? So Siemens have lots of good work in KM. It's well documented. Again, they are using the knowledge base and collaboration tool they call ShareNet. They've been using that for decades, I believe. They have expertise locator system. In other words, they have system that not only help their employees to search documents, but to search the name of the people. So on many occasions, you want to find people who are experts in certain areas, and a typical corporate telephone directory is not going to help you, much. So you need a reverse search tool. Something like you type in the area that you are seeking to know more, and it come back with the names of the people who reputably have earned respect because of the depth of knowledge in those areas. Okay, so Siemens also have best practice databases, no doubt, that's being put in the repository somewhere accessible via ShareNet, I believe. So, Siemens has also have deeper classification about the different types of knowledge that they would codify and put into their repository. Again, they have published books as well. So for those of you who are seriously interested, I would direct you to, to read 1 or 2 of their books that are, completely devoted to talking about Siemens ShareNet as a kind of a tool for knowledge sharing within the German Empire. Okay, so the journey continues with many other case studies, so I'm not going to speak much about them. And I'd like to finish this section by letting you know that, there's a Mike Award, most Innovative and Knowledge Enterprise Award going on at the city level, at the country level, at the regional level. So you can go and search Mike Award in different regions, in different cities. And chances are you will quickly find these three. The Mike Global Award on the left, the Mike MENA Award, which Grace is, overseeing in the middle one. And also I'm involved in the Mike Hong Kong Award. So irrespective of which one you find, typically the Mike Award operates on a standard 8-point score factors. So I'm not going to read all of them. You can find it on the website. The reason I want to draw on that is to give you an additional source to look for exemplar organizations that are doing good. Because most of these winners are also project-based organizations. So you can look at how they have, nicely articulate the various types of KM tools to support, their project-based operations, in construction, in logistics, in medical supplies, in other types of products and services as well. So at least for the Hong Kong winners, I can identify that, they use a combination of people and process-based KM tools, as well as technology tools, and of course, innovation tactics as well, as the arsenal, that give them the success in project management, in their operations, and also in the innovative capabilities. So you are highly, encouraged to look for those cases through one or more of those websites, and then learn from them as well. All right, so I'm into the final run here before we open up for Q&A. I would say that we have covered several things. We have talked about project management, really knowledge-intensive activities. We have identified bottlenecks, common bottlenecks, and shortfalls in large-scale complex project management. We have identified that knowledge flow is inadequate in organizations, and there are massive knowledge loss as well. And these have significant negative impacts on an organization's operation and on their bottom line. Thirdly, a plethora of methods, tools, and systems available for knowledge management, and a subset of those are highly, applicable to help to reverse the knowledge leakages and inadequate knowledge flow in project management. Fourth area, we have identified 5 key areas where KM tools can benefit project management: repository, processes, codification, network communities, and collaboration tools. I've given examples covering at least IBM, Siemens. There are others I can talk about more in a separate event. And I've also alerted you to the Mike Award site, which I believe there's much for you to learn more, as their work is exemplary in the use of various types of KM and innovation tools to support project management, to support their operations, and also to support their innovative capabilities. With that, I think we should finish the presentation, and Grace and I are more than happy to take any questions that you may have. Grace, can you check the Padlet to see if there are any postings in there, please?
Thank you so much, Professor Eric. This is amazing. I think we're pioneering in bringing those 2 dimensions together, the knowledge management and project management. And I'd like, while waiting for questions, I'd like to welcome warmly Mr. 𝐏𝐭𝐤𝐬, who is our esteemed judge. He has been a pioneer in Europe and in the world and in the MENA region, supporting us as one of our esteemed judges. And we have been honoring big names in the past, like Dubai Municipality, Petroleum di Oman last year, Ajman, also Ajman Municipality, and the Authority for Customs and Taxation. And Professor Mr. 𝐏𝐭𝐤𝐬, if you like to share any insights, I'd like to,
of course,
with permission of Professor Eric, to give you the floor.
Yes,
and thank
of course.
you.
Of course.
Sorry, is this being? Sorry, I halfway through I thought this is an amazing presentation, and whether we should have recorded it, or it has been recorded, or
yes, it's been recorded.
Fantastic.
You are being recorded.
Right. No, amazing. I think in my 20 years, some of the biggest successes I've had has been with KM and project management. I mean, they're both incredibly close partners. Just unfortunately, in a lot of project organizations, KM is not taken as seriously. It's on the major mega projects, we're lucky to have maybe one KM manager on a project. That's one reflection. And I think the other thing is on the lessons learned, certainly, learning from projects. So working in the Middle East with some of the big oil and gas companies, the biggest successes I saw were in the lessons learned or learning from experience, where one project was learning from another one. And critical to that is the whole leadership piece, having a project director that actually gets knowledge management. And that's so important to get that support. And I think
someone on board and convert it first.
Yes, and to have the investments to bring the investment into this. So I think that's critical. And it's also interesting what you say about AI, because I was at the Dublin conference last month, and all the conversation was about knowledge management and AI. But you know, and I think as David Snowden says and APQ say, we only capture about 20% of our knowledge, which is the codified, but it's at 80% tacit. Dr. Eric, how can we capture that tacit knowledge? What are your experiences in how we capture?
Well, firstly, I'm not entirely agree with the 20-80%. I think its situation is worse than that. Secondly, I don't think that everything tacit needs to be captured, right? That would not be, you know, appropriate as well. There are some, you know, enlightenments along the way with the new breed of AI and LLM models. You know, we start to see, you know, AI listening in the background, starting to summarize about what we are talking about and producing, you know, codified knowledge and condense the codified knowledge. And that is a good sign, assuming that we have time to verify about the accuracy and the completeness of the codified knowledge. And I think I'm very excited about this because for the first time with the generative AI and LLM models, KM programs can start to grow into from internal to external, right? So in other words, when you are collecting your lessons learned, typically, you know, it's secret. It's inside your firewall. These are the lessons learned inside your organization. But, you know, there are also other lessons learned which are in the public space. So AI give us, you know, the enormous power to hunt for these public domain lessons learned and be able to articulate or even merge it, extend it with our local lessons learned. And that, you know, after verification, I believe is very, very powerful because, you know, external knowledge obviously is a lot more than what an organization can harness internally. So this is very exciting, but it does come with a price. You know, there is attention, there is further validation, and we have to assume that AI is not perfect at this stage. So everything has to be revalidated. Otherwise, we are just, you know, inheriting the junk information.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
There's
Thank you very much.
there are two questions in the chat. So what I've just said, in fact, it's pretty much partially answer the second one, which is about how AI can assist the KM. And you know, I have a separate presentation on that. But typically, AI can help to summarize, identify, you know, the data patterns that otherwise human would not be able to spot. AI can help to summarize material and help us to retrieve material a lot faster and more accurately. So we can now talk to KMS in natural language, almost like a human conversation, which 20 years ago when I was teaching KM, no way, you know, the natural language interface are still very brittle. Okay, so these are very, and also the expansion of internal knowledge base to internal plus external, you know, assuming it's validated knowledge base, which is very exciting. We have a first question there. And maybe I answer first, and then Grace can also shed light on it. It asks about you know, vertical hierarchies. Vertical hierarchies, in my view, does not immediately you know, to inhibit knowledge flow. In fact, many organizations have you know, enabled knowledge flow within the hierarchy, within the silo, quite well. It's the problem that you know, there are two problems as I see it. Firstly, you know, up to at least 10-15 years ago, the flow of knowledge is very much from the top to the bottom until we had Web 2.0, which is 10-15 years ago, and start two-dimensional. And many, unfortunately in Asia, many things are still not Web 2.0. It's still one way because of the culture and the power distance. But at least, there's a way that to enable bidirectional sharing with Web 2.0. So hierarchical is no fear as long as the organization promotes bidirectional sharing. But the second problem is still there because of the silo. There is very little sharing across organizational units, and that remains a problem. So cloud computing has partially solved it, but there's still a long way to go. At the moment, I can see that many organizations are still operating in silo, and unfortunately, they discover what other organizations have done by chance, by a chance discovery. It's not by systematic efforts.
Yeah, thanks. I would add to that that there is a shift, and McKinsey has highlighted this shift from hierarchy to agile organization. So we're talking about organism like mobile app, where you see in hybrid mode, it's structured, but it's dynamic, active at the same time. Your phone is stable, but it can dynamically install and activate and operate multiple applications based on what you need. So similar to this simulation, the organizations now are encouraged to move from hierarchy to you can picture them like a circle where teams are formed and where we encourage collaborative leadership versus top-bottom leadership. Teams are formed, are self-empowered, and they are driven towards one specific task or outcome-oriented, and they are given the power to the knowledge platform and the very agile mode of work, so they can think, brainstorm, act proactively in order to deliver with much more efficiency. So this is the agile organization shift, where it's still stable, systematic, strategic flow has to come from the top and the direction. However, when it comes to execution, it's an agile execution dynamics. Thanks. Thanks for your question.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Grace and Hank, do you have any summary or parting words before we finish this session?
No, I think just
anything to add, Hank? Yeah.
No, amazing presentation. I really like the case studies. I was at IBM myself, and I know they were at the forefront of this, and we used a tool called Blue Pages for people profiles, and that was our #1 success around the world when we wanted to find people on projects, and we didn't know the names. You looked for the skills, and that was capturing the tacit knowledge. I like that example.
Wonderful. Grace, looks like we have a next speaker.
Yeah, of course, of course. That's why I'm giving him the privilege to conclude. So,
and I think also we need this closer relationship between project management and knowledge management. So
wonderful.
We don't have this body of knowledge in KM, or we don't have this professional organization that you have in PMI or APM. And I think it's something embedding the two together. It was very important.
Let's see whether we can plan another one on construction with case studies.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. So
all right.
Yeah,
I think thank you very much for everyone's perseverance and patience. Thank you for your support. This presentation has been recorded, and Grace will provide a link on her company's website for replay. So any problems or questions, you can follow up with Grace and or myself. So thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.